Hey y'all, welcome back to Pure South Pastures. I'm Mark. So glad you joined me today. Down here in the shade, you can see the cows shaded up behind me. I just got finished working on a hose that had a leak, and leaks have been the story of my life. I say if there's a leak in Lonoke County, which is where we live, it's going to find me. So had a really high water bill, so I've been working on some things to fix those leaks. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm down here in the shade because the cows are shaded up, and I didn't want to sit out in the sun and work on that, and so just got it fixed. I was looking around, and I want you to see this. I think every piece of property has some kind of unique feature, right? And a lot of times the trees, you have a tree that has an L bend in it, or an S curve or whatever. Check out this tree right here. It's kind of that way. But this tree actually, I don't know if you can tell, it's not just a knot. It's where, when it was a sapling, I guess it had gotten tied in a circle or in a knot. It's not just, what I'm saying is it's not just a big ball of a tree, but it's actually tied in a knot. And so that's crazy. It kind of circles around and goes up. So yeah, I had seen this tree and the way that the branch goes out, but I'd never seen that before. Kind of crazy how you see stuff that you've never seen. But anyway, I want to talk to you about this this whole regenerative ranching, regenerative farming space. Some thoughts that I have about it. I don't know if you've seen the video, the documentary Roots So Deep. I'd recommend you watch it. For $20, you can get it for 30 days. It's a 4-hour documentary, and it's worth your time. Sit down with your family and watch it. It's a great, great documentary. But I just want to talk about some attitudes and some mindsets and some stuff that just, I guess it just kind of does something negative in me, just kind of twists me up on the inside. So anyway, it's going to be a good day. It's nice and warm here in Central Arkansas, and the cows I'm about to give them a new break in their strip for today. We're on the new farm. If you followed us very long, we're not grazing over here. We're actually grazing this way, but this is the large field of the new farm, and this is stuff that we've been just letting grow and rest, because this farm had been continuously grazed for probably over 50 years, and it was toast. I mean, it was just nuked. So the more rest that we can give it, the better. And now it's a lot of weeds. It's not prime forage, but it's better than it ever has been. So we're gonna graze it this year. We're doing strip grazing. Best I can figure, we're gonna have like 120 days on this farm, plus the leased land, plus the farm that we've been grazing, our home farm, which is in the best shape of all of it. So if we hit dry, we're gonna be good. But at the same time, grazing in the summertime in Central Arkansas is a lot different than grazing in the spring. I feel like, and this is a thought that's come to me recently, I don't feel like you've accomplished much to do a good job grazing in the spring. Or let me say it this way, I don't think there's very much to brag about when you're grazing cool season grasses and doing it well. What I mean by that is you're getting a good graze, and it's regrowth is good. That's fairly easy to me, and this is just my point of view, but to me it's the warm season grass. It's the summertime. That's when it gets tough. It's just a whole different game. It's almost like the difference in cooking a hamburger on the grill and cooking a brisket, smoking a brisket. Anybody can cook a burger, but it takes some know-how to do a great job smoking a brisket without getting it too dried out. It's not as forgiving. And that's how these warm season forages are. They're just not as forgiving. And you're in the space where in Arkansas, we're expecting drought at any time. We've been getting pretty good rains, but we're just planning on it. And so you got that factor. You've also got the weed pressure. When you graze in the summertime, weeds are, it's a battle. I mean, right now we're battling goat weed, which, man, it's a monster. We're battling in one field. We got dog fennel that's out of control. That stuff's tough to control. So I'm saying all that to say, everybody's got a lot of weeds. I don't have to stand around and list them all, but I'm just saying, it's just a different deal for us in the summertime. So all I can speak for is my context, but from my point of view, grazing cool season forage is a piece of cake compared to what we're doing right now. Plus you got the heat issue with cattle, heat stress, keeping them water. On this farm, we don't have water permanently here, so we've run 3/4 inch poly pipe on top of the ground, and we're trying to work through that and figure out how we're going to do that. So it's got all its own challenges, but it's fun. I love it, and the cows are doing good. And yeah, so I'll show you what we're grazing. I'll show you this battle we're having with the doggone goatweed. If you have woolly croton, otherwise known as goatweed, nothing will eat it probably. But it's even grazing it hard, our cows just pick around it. And so if you don't do something with it, it just becomes a canopy. So following behind and mowing seems to be our best option, or just let it grow and try to work around it, try to get the ground better. I've had people say, if you have enough tall forage so that it doesn't germinate in the spring, I just haven't seen that yet. We've had knee-high forage and it still comes up through it. So we'll see. But it's what we're doing. We're grazing this warm season grass. I'm excited about what the cows are on, just because this is the new land, and when we first moved out here, there was nothing to graze. So us being able to graze it now is super, super exciting. Never underestimate the power of rest. Resting this land has been so good for it. And you'll hear me say this over and over and over. We don't have any optimal forage anywhere. I mean, this is not some super duper high powered forage, but our cows are doing well on it. And to me, this is real life. I don't know very many people who, you're just at the place where your pastures are just immaculate, and you have the most nutritional forage out there. We're just dealing with what we have, right, and making the best of it. So I'm gonna go turn on the water, make sure that this hose is not leaking, and then we'll show you what we got going on with the animals. Thanks for being with me today. All right, so the water is flowing and I don't have any leaks. So I want to show you, this is where they started grazing yesterday, and we're trying to do non-selective grazing, but as you can see, they are selecting around 2 major weeds, or 3 maybe. The dog fennel, you can see they nipped on that just a little bit right there on the edge, on the tips. But this is goatweed, or woolly croton. And if you have this in your pastures, you know what a booger it is to deal with. Nothing will eat it. I was hoping we would get enough pressure, enough impact to trample it, but that's not happening. It's just standing right back up. I mean, you can tell we graze this hard, on the grass side. This is called bitter sneeze weed, and they're kind of picking around it. And then really that's about it. Maybe a little bit of horse nettle, but there's not a whole lot of horse nettle in this pasture. But I'll show you what this looked like before. Across the line here, you can see what it looked like before we grazed. So this is for this pasture, this is killer. I know context is everything, and you may not have ever seen this field before, but it's doing really, really good compared to what it has done in the past. So I'm happy with that. Here's a lot of Bermuda coming up right here, which our cows aren't crazy about Bermuda, but it'll grow strong and they'll eat it, especially when you put pressure on them. We do have, this is the first time I've seen this on our farms, but we got a bunch of thistle coming in. So I'm gonna get out here and either pull these and throw them in the, on a trailer, or I'm gonna chop them. Not exactly sure yet, but I can see about, looks like about between 40 and 50 here in this field. And you can see the pressure of goatweed there, just on that little ridge, is a lot. So On this farm, this is a small field. Try not to make you sick here, but the home place is up here. That's the original farm we purchased. And then we bought this piece and that piece together. The bio runs on this side right here. So you got this smaller field on this side, this draw that runs down through here, and that when it's wet, that runs in water. And then you got the larger field on the back side that goes back to the, I don't know if you can see the furthest tree line right there. And all of this was just in really, really rough shape. And still is not great, but it's getting better. So fired up about that. The first thistle I saw was last year. This is just how crazy how this works. First one I saw was right down here by this tree last year. And I pulled it up, and man, it's just crazy what's in the seed bank. Hey, there's a lot of Bermuda coming in down here. It's not real thick. As a matter of fact, it's short, but it's a ton of Bermuda. It's crazy. So, yeah, it was right down in here. Fescue. You've heard me talking, we're getting more fescue, but we've had very little. This bottom's got a lot of fescue in it. You can see through there, that other field over there. If you watched a long time ago, I did a video on setting up fence when you're not, it's a kind of a new property, you're not sure what you're going to do. This is the farm we did that on. We set up a temporary split fence that would split these two fields. Instead of putting in something permanent, we just put in some rebar posts with some poly wire on it, just to kind of see how things are going to function. Sheep have been down here because we got that high pressure management on the sheep, where they pretty much go where they want to. This grass, a lot of fescue here. All this is doing good. I wanted to kind of check out this before I leave. I wanted to check out this hose and make sure we didn't have any more leaks. I had a water bill because of an issue that I don't think I've talked about on video. Had a water bill that was so expensive it's embarrassing. I won't even tell you how much it was. It was a lot. Well, see, I'm glad I did that. Let's fix that real quick. Really glad I stayed around, because I had too much pressure and that thing blew off twice. So I've put some tape on this hose. I don't know if you guys have had this problem. This adapter for the water hose, I'm gonna take it off as a matter of fact, so I can put it on this hose. If you're using one of these, somebody tell me if you've had something similar, but it seems like these threads have worn out with a lot of movement of this this trough, and maybe over time it's kind of wallered this out a little bit, and these hoses just aren't getting a real secure fit. So I'm gonna put some more tape on this time. I just turned my water pressure down. Water pressure is a good thing until you're trying to keep hoses on tanks, and then that's not a recipe for keeping the hose on there. I got some tape in here. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'll be back. There we go. I got it. Got the pressure turned down. Went and cut the valve back a little bit, and got it filled back up. The cows just came by. This is what you want to see. They've been shaded up, but now here it is, 2 in the afternoon. Probably as warm as it's going to get today, in the mid 90s, and they're headed back out in the sunshine to eat. So that speaks of cattle that are heat tolerant. They're gonna work for you even in the sunshine and the heat and humidity, which we have both of those. So yeah, that makes me happy. I'm going to wait for a little while and give them their last break for the day. I don't want to give it to them too early because I want them to graze right up till dark before they lay up for the night. So, yeah, giving them about 1/4 of an acre a day. And with the forage that's here, that's what really gets a pretty solid graze. I wish they would trample these weeds, but it's just not going to happen, so I'm probably going to have to come in and clip them. So that's just part of what we're dealing with. So there's something I want to talk about today. I want to address a topic that I've been thinking a lot about. It's from what I'm seeing, and this is probably more human nature than it is just in the regenerative space. I consume a lot of content. I read a lot of articles, I've learned so much from YouTube, and I've got so many YouTube heroes, people who are farmers and agricultural people, and they really have taught me almost everything that I know. And so I'm really, really grateful for that. And even some of the people that I look up to in this space the most, really I see this in, and so I just want to take a minute and talk about just the critical attitude that people have, or maybe the critical stance that people take when somebody's not doing it just like they are. There are a lot of different ways to do regenerative agriculture. There are a lot of different contexts. Everybody has a different context. So I think we always have to be thinking about context. What is your context? What's your physical location, your geographical location? What does your schedule allow you to do? What are the kind of forages that you have? What can your land tolerate, or what kind of grazing can your lifestyle accommodate? And so there's so many. Everybody has all of these different questions that have to be answered to figure out how you're going to do the best that you can do. At the end of the day, regenerative agriculture is about doing what's best for the land, doing what's best for the animals, getting back to the way nature was created to function, creating healthy meat or healthy food in the healthiest way possible, getting away from inputs so that it financially makes sense to raise these animals. There are just so many different pieces of that puzzle that make sense, and it's an awesome thing in a way of life. Everybody can do it differently. I've got a friend, he's extremely intelligent, he's a medical doctor, and he said, I think I've mentioned this before, but one of his favorite sayings is, there's a lot of different right ways of doing something, and I'm probably going to look for a different right way than you're going to look for. And so I think keeping that in mind when we're approaching how we're going to raise our animals, or how we're going to talk about the way that we're doing or someone else is doing it. And so it really bothers me to watch people that I look up to, and they're calling other people stupid because someone else is not doing it exactly the way they're doing it. Although they're trying to use regenerative methods, they're trying to do the best that they can do in their context. Just because it's not done the way that the other individual says, oh, they're stupid, and I can't believe how dumb that somebody would do it that way. I think we just need to get out of that mindset. At the end of the day, we're on the same team. I'm not talking about holding hands and singing songs together. I'm just saying, we're going for the same thing. We're trying to do what's best for the land. We're trying to make it work in our context. Not everybody has the same amount of time and freedom and all of that with family and work and all the other issues of life. And so if people are attempting to move away from conventional practices, from just releasing animals on the land and just letting them graze it down to the dirt, and they're giving rest, they're working with the principles of nature and the principles of regenerative agriculture, then let's celebrate each other. Let's don't tear each other down. Let's not get on social media platforms and talk about how dumb other people are because they're not doing it the way we're doing it. Just frustrates me. If you're going for this goal of regenerative agriculture, trying to take out some of the inputs, trying to go back to the way nature that God intended for it to be, then let's hold arms and celebrate what I'll celebrate what you're doing. You might not be doing non-selective grazing like I am. You might be doing take half, leave half. And I've said before, in my context, I found out that doesn't work. But in your context, it might work great. You might have more cool season grasses than I do. And so it works better for you. So, yeah, before we jump on somebody else's practice and tell them how dumb they are, or before we get on somebody else's YouTube channel, and I'm not talking about offering, helpful comments. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying before we jump on there, and I had this guy one time tell me how, I was doing something wrong and how dumb I was I was supposed to be doing it this way and grazing this way. And then, in conversation through the deal, I found out that he didn't even have cattle yet. He was about a year away from getting cattle, but he was telling me because he had been watching YouTube about how I needed to be doing it when he had no idea of the context. He was in a northern state and he didn't have any understanding of what kind of forages we have here in Arkansas or the temperature or whatever. So I'm rambling on, but I'm just saying it really bothers me that when people who are supposed to be going in the same direction, we should be celebrating each other and trying to move the ball forward, trying to get more people involved in what we're doing instead of tearing one another down because somebody's not doing it exactly the way we're doing it. So we need to change the way we think about that. And if you're wanting to cut inputs, heal the soil, raise healthy animals, healthy nutrient-dense meat, and do it the way God intended for it to happen, the way we see nature was before man got involved, I want to celebrate you. I don't want to talk about how dumb you are. I want to celebrate you, and I want to just believe that things are going to work out for you, and together we're going to discover some things. That's what this channel is all about. It's just about trying to figure it out as we go, and we're going to learn. We're going to see this land over time. It's going to be a documenting of this land getting better and better and better, raising healthier animals than we ever have. And so that's what this is all about. And yeah, so I want to celebrate the heroes, the people out there that I've learned from so much, but I also want to celebrate everybody else in this space who is who's doing something to move this needle forward on regenerative ag, and to do your best to heal the soil where you are. So that's my thought for today. Yeah, it's been bugging me for a while, and I said I'm going to spend some time and talk about it. If that resonates with you in any way, I know it does with some of you because I've talked to you. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, this other person that we watch, he said, you're stupid for doing non-selective grazing. I said, yeah, I know. Just put me in the stupid line. That's what I'm doing right now. But anyway, enough of that. So I'm going to jump off here today. I'm glad you joined me. We got the water problem fixed. Cows are down here in the shade, and kind of what I'm doing too. I'm hanging out down here in the shade before I head back up. So I love this though. Check this out. This is what the South Pole gene does for you. Look at this baby right here. Everybody else is in the shade, and she's laid up out there in the sun. She's not worried about it. Just chilling in the sun. Heat tolerant South Pole animals. They're great for the South. So anyway, hey, God bless you guys. I'm grateful for you joining my channel today, checking it out. Lots and lots of people who watch our channel are not subscribers. Matter of fact, the larger majority who watch our channel regularly or watch our channel are not subscribers. So I'd appreciate it. It'd help us a lot if you would subscribe today. Just hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Just totally free. Just hit that subscribe button. Also, if you would hit a like, helps the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. More people will see our channel. More people will get this content. Maybe more people will hear me talking about how we ought to be working together, not against each other. So God bless you. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you on the next one.